Important note, this video is not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decision. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Here's your market briefing from Rumour with AI. Liquidity is vanishing from the digital asset space just as new utility emerges. XRP spot liquidity on Binance has collapsed to a 0.043 index, marking the lowest level since January 2020. This squeeze comes as DNA Protocol launches a genomic identity pilot on the XRPL testnet in Uganda. The contrast highlights a market at a crossroads between speculative dryness and real-world application. In the broader equity landscape, industrial testing firm Transcat is setting the tone for service sector growth. CEO Jamie Irick is targeting high single-digit organic service growth for FY 2027. This ambition is directly fueled by the integration of the SCM Metrology acquisition. Investors are watching closely to see if this M&A strategy can sustain momentum beyond Q4 FY 2026 results. Geopolitical risks are simultaneously reshaping energy and defense sectors. Russia is intensifying hybrid attacks on EU energy infrastructure, escalating a grey war that threatens regional stability. As NATO stocks rise in response to these tensions, traditional energy markets are seeing a strategic pivot. Big Oil is returning to the Arctic with record bids. ConocoPhillips and Shell led the charge in the National Petroleum Reserve, with bids hitting $163 million for 625 Alaska tracts. This signals a renewed commitment to domestic supply security amid global volatility. Looking ahead to today's release, attention turns to the Asia-Pacific session. At 1:30 Universal Time Coordinated, Australia will release its inflation data. The market is forecasting a year-over-year inflation rate of 5.1%, up from the previous 4.6%. This rise is critical for the Reserve Bank of Australia's policy trajectory. Simultaneously, construction work done is expected to grow 0.5% quarter-over-quarter, reversing the previous -0.1% contraction. These figures will provide early clues on global demand resilience. In related news, the earnings calendar for May 26 features high-profile names. PDD Holdings, BMO, and ANF are set to report. Their results will offer immediate sentiment checks for tech and financial sectors. Meanwhile, European data will follow later in the day. The UK's CBI Distributive Trades Index is forecast at -60, improving from the previous -68. France's consumer confidence is expected to dip slightly to 83 from 84. The interplay between these macro indicators and corporate earnings will define today's volatility. Liquidity constraints in crypto contrast sharply with the capital influx in Alaskan oil leases. Transcat service growth targets suggest a shift toward specialized industrial demand. As Russia's hybrid war pressures EU energy grids, defense and energy equities remain sensitive to geopolitical headlines. The Australian inflation print will be the key driver for currency markets in the early session. Traders must weigh the $163 million energy bid against the potential for tighter monetary policy in the RBA. Market participants should monitor the divergence between speculative asset liquidity and tangible industrial growth. The return of major oil players to Alaska indicates long-term supply confidence. However, the drop in XRP liquidity warns of reduced speculative depth in digital assets. Earnings from PDD and BMO will test whether corporate profits can withstand these macro headwinds. The coming hours will reveal if inflation data forces a repricing of rate expectations. That's your market briefing. Follow Rumour with AI for daily market intelligence.